Hello, and welcome to day 2 in my no cards build log for New Worlds. In my case, I'm playing USA World 3, which opened nearly 3 days ago now. It says day 3 right up here. So I was just going to show you what I did in my second day, and what you could do. Now, the build I was going for here, you should check out the first video if you haven't yet, is a sort of a supporting role. A farmer, but you will be supporting your faction in weapons, goods, stuff like that. Okay, so the new buildings that are different from day 1 are, for one, I placed an inn and 3 breweries. I added an additional Woodcutters Hut and 5 Dovecotes. I also added 1 Fletchers. So I'm starting some bow production. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the research points needed to increase bow production by, what is it, 200%, 250? But this was a good start because I'm not going to be playing any cards, so I won't be able to just card archers for myself out of thin air. Now, one important thing I wanted to mention, maybe it'll be of use to you, is if you have too many peasants, you can simply conscript them into an army and then send the army to your parish. Even if your parish barracks are full, they'll still accept the peasants. They'll just simply disappear. And that's a great way of keeping your food costs and stuff down lower. Because if you build too many hovels right away, or you have your hovels too close to the keep, what will happen is you'll have an unsustainable population in your village, and you have to feed them all. There's really no way to just kill peasants. You can't go to your barracks screen or whatever and just recruit armed peasants and kill them off. Whenever you disband them, they go back into your peasant population. So really, the only way of decreasing the number of peasants in your village is by simply killing them. So I hope that that you find that informative, because somebody asked that in the, well, they didn't ask it. Somebody was talking about overpopulation in a faction thread. But I digress. Let's take a look at the research I did. I'll start in the industry tab, and for stone quarrying, I invested an additional 3 research points into it, 2 additional research points into forestry, and as I mentioned, I have the Fletcher's building. I needed to research Fletching to unlock it. Now, the reason I invested more in stone quarrying right now than I did in forestry is because although I have the same number of both forestry and stone quarries, not forestry, I have the same number of woodcutters huts and stone quarries. Wood is it's being outproduced. Stone is being outproduced by wood currently. With military, I left this alone for the most part. As you can see, I am currently researching fortification, but this is for day 3, so that has nothing to do with day 2. The rest of it, I left it alone. The strategy going forward is I'm going to just research the small lookout tower for tomorrow, and then I'll get started on building a castle, because players are going to be out looking for good villages, and if you don't have at least some basic defense in place, the lesser ones are going to take your village. Not the lesser, the people like me, the people who aren't paying a lot or aren't paying anything, because it is basically a walk in the park. They look at your village and they see what? It's 5 peasants defending the keep, and they're going to send an attack that will take that village because they probably have a bit stronger army than you. So we need to have a basic stone defense. So I would like to surround the keep, or a good portion of it, with stone towers, and then have a few archers in those towers in addition to the peasants. I also plan on doing some castellation research that will help improve keep defense. So that is sort of the focus of day 2. I mean day 3. This is covering day 2 right now. But let's go over to farming. Now, you may have noticed in day 1 I started researching the Plough. I have completed this research, and I've also completed hops research, which I proceeded to max out. You may have noticed before, in my village I had the inn and the 3 breweries placed. With 400% production rate, I am able to sustain a population of 32 with only 3 breweries. These breweries are cheaper and much more accessible to me because I research tools, thereby reducing their cost by 40%. Let's return to the research tree and cover the final tab, education. Now, as you can see, nothing new here. I had mathematics and merchant skills researched yesterday, as I did art, and decoration and literature. It looks like I really didn't complete anything new here. However, although I didn't complete new research, I mentioned I did finish building the 5 Dovecotes. And let's take a look at the popularity, how my village, the status, how it's doing. For taxes, I have maximum bribes, which is costing me around 960 gold a day. This is due to go up because I needed more peasants and placed a hovel. This hovel is going to give me a capacity of 4, but I do not plan on adding too many new buildings in the following days anyway. So yeah, it's a hard call, because if I build the hovel closer, I'm going to have to deal with the additional peasants that I don't need. But at the same time, if I build it over here and then I need more peasants past the 4, I'm going to have to build another hovel, the price is starting to go up. So I think I'll move it a little bit closer before the premium token runs out. But that is another thing to keep in mind, is that this is the end of day 2. When I'm recording this, it's day 3 has started, and my premium token is due to run out in a few hours. So I'm going to have to make a design that I'm happy with, that I can see some expansion. Do not worry too much. There is one more premium token to be had through questing in this world yet. You can also go to other worlds and get the 2-day premium token that you get by doing the same quests in that world, and then come back to this world and play them. But but I was just focusing on the one world, and there is a quest that yields a 2-day premium token. So for those of you who didn't get the village the way you wanted it, when the premium token ran out, the premium token from the tutorial, do not worry too much. There is one coming up once you complete some more quests. Speaking of quests, I completed an additional 2 today. Now I know that is very underwhelming compared to how many I completed yesterday. The 2 being Ride Like the Wind 1 and Team Player 1. Team Player 1 was impossible to complete yesterday because there was no guild in my parish. The Ride Like the Wind, however, the Ride Like the Wind, however, is just pure luck. Do not expect to complete this one because it just so happens that a resource stash spawns right outside my village in this parish. It doesn't happen in all parishes. It's sort of a fluke. You may or may not have one. So do not set your expectations by that. But speaking of parishes, I still am not steward of this parish, and that is okay, because I was in contact with one of the stewards and they seem to know what they're doing. But I might just be the gentle giant who sort of comes in the night and takes it. So yeah, in the parish there are 2 guilds built, stone and wood, so they know what they're doing. That's what I would build, because stone, it's more important than apple production. I have enough apples the way it is, I can sustain that, but stone and wood are always going to be needed, and yeah, I approve of that. That is a good build selection. I know I failed to cover the parish yesterday, but there really wasn't anything going on. As you can see, the former steward got outed, I think. Wow. And I can't out the current steward, so we're sort of at a stalemate, yeah. 3 cheers for cooperation and communication. Not really. Another thing I'd like to look at are the ranks. Now, you'll notice that yesterday, if you watched the video, I was level 8, free man, 2nd grade. I've basically only moved up 1 rank today. Today being day 2. And that is to commoner, 2nd grade. As you can tell, the speed of the world is already slowing down for those who do not have the cards to just keep going. And I'll most likely finish this. I'll most likely get to Thane by day 3. I mean, if we look at my projected honor production, I'm currently making 7,500 honor per day, due to 30 from the decorative buildings. Decorative buildings are flower beds and the Dovecotes, and also 30 from arts research, which I mentioned yesterday, and it is a very strong research for those who are not using cards. Times that, multiply that by 125, what I'm currently getting in popularity, and the end result is 7,500 honor a day, which is more than enough to complete this entire rank. Now, the problem is, my honor generation is it's flatlining. It's sort of reached its peak, and there's no projection for it to increase any day really soon. So it's going to be slowing down more and more. Let's take a look at education, because to get more popularity, I'm going to have to get to level 12 so I can build some stone statues, level 10 so I can increase the popularity more, and then maybe after I've gotten my defenses up and bow production in full swing, along with industry, I'm going to be maxing out both stone quarrying and forestry. So after bow production is maxed out, stone quarrying and forestry is maxed out, and I have access to archers, I'll probably be investing in more food types. But first I want to establish an economy that can support future growth, which is what I did here with the apples and the ale. Then I want to establish at least some modicum, some semblance of a defense, so that it sort of deters people who would attack me for not having a defense. It will never deter people with cards. I mean, if they're determined to take your village, they're probably going to take it. It's hard to avoid it unless you play cards yourself. But yeah, that's sort of part of the Firefly's plan, isn't it? Okay, so that's my defense. Not my defense. That's my strategy going forward, and I think it sort of, hopefully it will help you visualize what I have in mind here. So after I get the defenses up, then I can start focusing on more food types. Okay, this video has rambled a bit, I suppose, but this is one last thing. I'm going to show you the castle I currently have. I hope to be replacing this with stone relatively soon, hopefully day 3. And I guess that covers it. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about the video, or if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section, and thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.
Stronghold Kingdoms. The battle has just begun.